and a chapbook called Gutter Water, and she's going to do Work by Pete Spiro. Pete is now a born-again Christian living someplace in the far west. What can you do about it? Please welcome luxlun.
Yeah.
Too good.
Nice. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Margo. As Bob just said, I'm very happy to be here, and we can go ahead and get started. I was inspired by the poem by Peter Spiro, Work. It made me consider the concept of work, right? Everything is work. I think we put a bad connotation around the concept of work, but even the things that we enjoy, right? Let's say a piece of chocolate. You have to digest and chew that chocolate. There's a bit of work that goes into actually enjoying that bit. So yeah, I kind of took a different perspective on the work, and let's go. Also, it begins in a song. It's going to turn into a poem. Definitely inspired by my roots in church. I was raised in a Baptist church by Southern preachers. So yeah, feel it. Feel free to join in and clap if you feel comfortable. I've been working all day, I've been working all night, trying to make ends meet, trying to make wrongs right. No time to breathe, no time for relief. I got 4 hours to sleep, I got no hours to dream, 'cause I've been working all day, I've been working all night. My feet they bleed as I grip too tight, no hopes for Ikigai, no, we must survive, so we work all day, yes, we work all night, but we pray, we can lay and leave our burdens down. We have been praying for some time now. Will things change? My tongue turns to stone. Trying to gather my empathy, my frustration, my understanding, my hate, my love into words easy to digest. It's tough to chew. Rest is a revolution, yes. And yet, rest is a privilege. Who dare tell the displaced to be still? We scream into the storm, hoping to settle things down, tossing stones to slay the mountain. What say you in the midst of the revolution? Do words not fade like droplets in the sea of the mob? Do actions not diminish amidst the innumerable cogs? As gears of the capitalist machines turn, we turn with it. Crushed, this insatiable machine, we feed it. It feeds us, and it eats us up. Quite a conundrum. Still, the revolution marches on. Rest is a revolution. Boycotting is a revolution. Movement is a revolution. Violence is a revolution. Peace is a revolution. Financial freedom is a revolution. Legacy is a revolution. Prayer is a revolution. Love is a revolution. Revolution is revolution. There's so much work to be done. Work with the divine, work with self, work with community. Whatever your work may be, choose your battle, sharpen your skills, and fight hard. In time, we will work it out. Yeah.
Thank you, luxlun. There's the why guy. Did you know that Baraka wrote a chapbook called Wise? Why? Apostrophe S, but it sounds like wise. Oh, you're a wise guy. Nancy Mercado is coming up here now, writer of the American Book Award for Lifetime Achievement. Frederick Douglass, 200 Bicentennial Douglass received the Arturo Alfonso Schomburg Award. Editor of the first Nuyorican Writers Anthology, Volume 1 and 2. Board member of the Before Columbus Foundation. Ishmael Reed sent me the new, comps today.
Oh, yeah.
You know that. Assistant editor for echopoetry.org. She is the queen of the scene. Please welcome Nancy Mercado.
I've known Bob since
Yeah, right.
1980.
Yeah.
I was introduced to Bob by fellow Jeffrey.
Yes, he said, Bob, I want you to meet Nancy Supermarket.
Yes. And I read at the poetry project for the first time. I read for the first time, period. And it was at the poetry project because of Bob and Bello Jeffrey. They put me on stage. You're gonna, I'm like, I told Bello, I'm not reading out loud, you know. Like, no, you're a poet, you gotta read. They put me on stage, so
Yeah.
of course there was no pressure. It was a big hall, and I think Allen Ginsberg was there, and so no pressure, Corso, All right. This poem is in the book.
Light it up, Nancy.
It's called Media. I'm gonna read it because it's in the book. So
Yeah.
written a while back. Media, mi abuela Puerto Rico. Media lived eons ago when sandals pounded dirt roads, blazing hot under palm tree-lined skies. Media's long dark hair flowed side to side, glistened in the noon light. Mahogany skin she shopped, plátanos, yucas, a bark of soap. Media worked, striking clothes against wooden boards, gathering wood for evening meals, feeding chickens, hogs, dogs, and roosters at dawn. Media traveled only once to Chicago. A color-faded photograph serves as document. Smiles and thousands of hugs for the grandchildren on a park bench. Media is a century old and still remembers every one of us, even those left over in the US. She still carries a stick, certain of her authority over 4 generations. Media outlived 2 world wars, saw the first television, the first electric bulb in her town, Hitler, segregation, the Vietnam War, and Gorbachev. Media can speak of the turn of the century land reforms, of the blinded enthusiasm for a man called Marin, and the mass migration of the 1950s. Media can speak of her beloved husband, sugarcane cutter for life. She can speak of the love of a people, of the pain of separation. Media can speak of the Caribbean Ocean, the history of the sun and sand, and the mystery of the stars. Media maintains an eternal candle lit just for me. Media will live for all time.
Yeah.
I'm now getting why is ready to come up here, but before he does, I want to just remind you that his name is not just why, it's why. Because there's a question mark at it. The first name I've ever seen that has punctuation. Man, you must be a poet if you gotta add punctuation to your damn name.
Oh, man.
Why? That's why! It is found in creative expressions.com, allowing this purpose-driven work to develop a personally driven musician, vocal songwriter, composer, producer, without limitation. And the mantra is, show love. Why?
So, ladies and gentlemen, intergalactic beings, multidimensional beings, this is dedicated to the great Miguel Pinheiro. I found out about Miguel Pinheiro through Johnny Leguizamo. So when I watched Johnny Leguizamo Freak, I said, this had to come from somewhere. 2007, I used to sneak into the Bowery Poetry Club. I did my first show, no ID, swirling off of pale ale and lost dreams, but as you trace it back, it goes back to this thing called a 3-2. It's a clave, and that clave goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Give me a hot sandwich from EBT and chopped cheese de corazon and rats walking through the projects in Brooklyn because a rat in Bushwick could cuff a cat.
Yeah.
What is the gossip? The gossip sings. They sing on Instagram stories. My jazz mentors told me, don't ever fucking get on stage looking at sheet music. Word up. You better memorize that in every key, every sound, every modulation, situation. When my hood get diminished like flat fives and sharp fours and police kicking doors at Oregon, cause my mentors were in the mirror. They told me you don't need a microphone because your voice can chill bones and play them like vibraphones. And it takes more than a little weed to get in the zone. And before they move people outside of Lower East Side homes, we pumped in and we brought it back to that 3, 2. She was a project princess on the 22nd floor. I offered her less, but less is more when mortals get less, because when you are more or less, this is harder than a feeling than a Great Depression before the 1920s. We traded bitter for like rock candy and said songs of salsa on roofs that sound like Pablo Navarro before Death Poetry Jam. Mary Barra before the cop stops and shop blocks and copper tops get knocked out of soul. Never to look at music when you get on stage. Never to look at something except a mirror, because there is no fear of an audience, because all they are is a reflection. Perception, right? Perception. So who the fuck am I? Who the fuck are you? Lower East Side of Square, Alphabet City with alphabet soup and alphabet cereal put in loops. Man, I made beats on 3 loops before I found out the ultimate beat was in my heart. So take your hand and put your hand on your heart right now. And feel a beat on your heart right now. And when I say 3, 2, 1, you say whatever is on your beat. 3, 2, 1. Right. That makes you a musician, because there is rhythm in a heart, with a pitch, with a tempo. So someone tells you that chord is wrong, or that song isn't there, or that you need to play a little 2, 5, 1, bossa nova, anything you need. Don't let anybody think that this is not accessible to you, because we feed off of love. We do not need microphones. Because I read all those notes on music. If a fly landed on that paper, I'll play that shit. Con clap. Cochinchero, dale, 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 cochinchero, dale. Just remember, music is inside of you. It's never anywhere else. Don't look too hard. Right in the nose. Peace and love.
Wow.
Thank you. Shout out to Bob. First open mic, Bowery Poetry Club, July 13, 2007.
Oh, why?
Days that will go down in infamy. I mean history. And Beth and Liz up here also. And of course, who was really playing that club? Mr. Marlon. We just have to have that in his back pocket. I think everybody here must always walk around with a clave in your back pocket.
That's right.
That was Mikey Pinheiro, whose play Short Eyes was the first voice that came out of the Nuyorican diaspora and was heard by Joe Papp at the Public Theater, who helped Miguel Algarín to start what was then called the El Puerto Rican Actors and Playwrights Workshop Incorporated, a nonprofit organization that would morph into the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, and that path would then navigate with the then mayor David Dinkins to purchase the building on 3rd Street, and the price was $1.
Yep.
So it's quite some history with Mikey Pinheiro there. And of course, we could go on and on about that movie starring Benjamin Bratt, but we won't. I got something to say. Puma Perl is coming up here next. She's going to bring on Denise Duhamel, who's now teaching down in Miami, Florida. Puma herself is a poet, writer, producer, performer with 5 books in print. She plays regularly with her band, Puma Perl and Friends, and she lives and works on the Upper West Side. No, I'm sorry, the Lower East Side. I'm sorry, John. Listen to me. Puma Perl.
Thank you, Bob and Susan and the library and the cafe, and what you said that it made it accessible. Let me just say, I went to the cafe for the first time, second night it opened on 6th Street, and like everyone else there, it saved our lives and got us in a world of trouble all at the same time. Sometimes on the same night. More about that later. I'm going to read this poem by Denise Duhamel, and then my response. Fear on 11th Street and Avenue A, New York City. Now the papers are saying pesticides will kill us rather than preservatives. I passed the schoolyard where the Catholic girls snack cheese doodles and apples. No parent today knows what to pack in a lunchbox, and the plaid little uniforms hold each girl in. Lines in the weed, cross-like directions, blurry decisions. A supervising nun sinks in her wimple. All the things she can do, she thinks to save them. Her face growing smaller. She dodges their basketball. Who said the Catholic Church has you for life if it had you when you were 5? I remember my prayers at odd times, and these girls already were afraid. But it's not just the church, it's America. I fear the children I know will become missing children, that I will lose everyone I need to some hideous cancer. I fear automobiles, all kinds of relationships. I fear that the IRS will find out the deductions I claimed this year. I made up that an agent will find a crumpled draft of this poem, even if fear edits this line out. I have no privacy, no protection, yet I am anonymous. I sometimes think the sidewalk will swallow me up. So I know when the girls line up to go inside and one screams to her friend, if you step on a crack, you break your mother's back. She means it. She feels all that responsibility, that guilt. And there's only one brown girl who doesn't do what she should. She's dancing by herself to a song on her Walkman. One of her red knee socks bunches in her ankle and slips into her sneaker, and the shoulder strap of her jumper has unbuckled so her bib flaps. Maybe she can save us. I clutch at the schoolyard's chain link fence. Please, little girl, grow up to be Pope or President. Okay, so after Fear on 11th Street and Avenue in New York City. Little brown girl dancing did not grow up to be Pope or President. She loved dancing to the mixtapes her favorite big brother made her. It was 1993. She adored Michael Jackson, Madonna, and Whitney Houston. Her brother included her idols while expanding her tastes and interests. The family loved to watch her dance, one red knee sock falling, oversized t-shirt slipping down her skinny arms like that girl in Flashdance. The tape she played in the schoolyard that day was the best one yet. He'd open up with some familiar beats, including some she already knew. Rock the Casbah, Clash, I Shot the Sheriff, Bob Marley, Rapture, Blondie, Insane in the Brain, Cypress Hill, Rappers Delight, the Sugar Hill Gang, Dancing Barefoot, Patti Smith, Vámonos Pal Monte, Eddie Palmieri. Near the end, he surprised her with sounds she had never imagined. Coltrane, A Love Supreme, Part 4. Pharaoh Sanders, the creator, has a master plan. Suicide, Dream Baby Dream. And he concluded with a lullaby. Gonna take a miracle, or a mirror and a bell. And you might have thought this little girl was lonely dancing by herself. You might have hoped she'd overcome her sad life in those Catholic girl uniforms, lingering outside the circle of the popular white girls. Maybe you believe she'd manifest your dreams of the future. What you might have missed was that little dancing girl was quite happy. She was loved, and she was never lonely. She had her music, she had her family, and she did not want to be the Pope. She did not want to be the president. She wanted to keep dancing, making music, and nurturing her younger siblings and future children as her elders had nurtured her. And she grew. Her life became her symphony. Quietly playing, quietly praying. Thank you.
Good. Call and respond. Boom, boom. Ralph Denzer's coming up next, going to do a piece inspired by Bimbo Rivas, Loisaida. Bimbo, you know, of course, coined the word Loisaida, and he took in Jorge Brandon when Jorge grew older, and an extraordinary amount of love to love poetry. Bimbo was one of the greats. Thank you, Ralph, for doing this. Longtime Lower East Side resident, transplanted to the wilds of Canada, composed music for theater, dance, film. He can be heard on the trumpet, recorders, guitar, and the occasional melodica. And by the way, he especially loves mango sorbet. Please welcome Ralph Denzer and Bimbo Rivas.
Well, I was gonna had a big thing I wrote here. Basically, a bunch of us moved to the Lower East Side back in '78, and I lived here till 1990.
Yep.
And it was a war zone, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And there was rubble, there were fields of rubble, and there were crack piles everywhere. And we decided to try our hand at making political theater here, so we got us a storefront on 9th Street, which is now an ice cream store. And we made puppets, shows and stuff, and we needed more space. So we went over to Charas and over there, and they let us rent a space from them. We had no heat. We used to put plastic over the windows, and we had little space heaters, and we kind of huddle around and drink lots of hot coffee and try to keep warm in the winter.
I still do that.
You know. Anyway, over there, we met some of the people that started Charas El Bohío, which I hope most of you know is a community center that provided amazing, valuable services to this community. And one of the people I met there, I didn't know him well, but was Bimo Rivas. And I remember one day when I had kind of just arrived, I was talking to Bimo and I messed up his name, and I said, "Oh, there's that guy Bimo." And he looked at me and he said, "I am Bimbo Rivas." Boy, did I feel dumb. Anyway, so I was going through this anthology, ALOUD, 40 odd years later, and there's a poem by Bimbo. And it spoke to me, and it spoke to me about how much these people whose space we worked at with, how much they love this community and how much they tried so hard to make a sense of community and shelter and warmth for all their people and basically for everyone. So I was struck by that. I mean, we hear a lot about how hard it was and how much drugs there was and how much violence, but there was the other side, that they had this love. So I got inspired by that, and I wrote this song to a poem by Puma called Louis. You're my beloved, so fast. No matter where I am, I think of you. The mountains and the valleys cannot compare. Show my love for you, Louisiana. You're my beloved, so fair. Louisiana, how I love you. All the mountains and the valleys cannot compare. Oh, what a hood. Even when you're drug infected, talking talks. Playgrounds where our young bloods hang around waiting, hoping that just one day, when they too get well, and they will smile again.
This court asks for some color response. When I say it be mente, you repeat after me, it be mente. Mi amada. Okay, it be mente. Mi amada. Okay. Yo te llama Loisaida. Yo te llama Loisaida.
Yo te llama Loisaida.
Okay, let's try it. 1, 2, 3. En mi mente, mi amada.
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 Yo te llama Loisaida.
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 En mi mente, mi amada. En mi mente, mi amada. Yo te llama Loisaida. Te llama Loisaida.
Oh, your love is all that they need to come around. I said your love is all that they need to come around. Talking about love is all that they need to come around. Oh, love is all that they need to come around. Loisaida, Loisaida, you're so fair. No matter where I am, I think of you. All the mountains and the rivers cannot compare. Show my love to you, Loisaida, my beloved, so fair. Loisaida, how I love you. All the mountains and the valleys cannot compare. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. There was the entire Loisaida Orchestra. The very first appearance here at the Tompkins Square Library. Wow. We're already past time? Stephanie Laurier, get up here and do your sparrow piece. All right. Oh, come on, Steph.
Inspired by testimonial, sparrows. I lived in the city 25 years.
I lived in the city
And all this time,
25 years.
I dropped it.
I lived in the city
I lived 25 years in the city.
and I dropped
And
things.
all that time, I dropped it.
I dropped
25 years in the things. And all this time, I dropped it.
tissue.
25 years in the city.
Let woman. I dropped it. Money.
25 years.
Books. By Charles Cherry. Money. Keys to my house. Books. By Jacques Cherry. Keys to my money. Books by my woman. Letters from woman. Books by Jacques Cherry. Money. Tissues.
Yeah.
And you,
People of the sea pointed to me and said,
hey you dropped something. Hey you dropped something. Hey you dropped something. Hey you dropped something. Hey you dropped something.
Yeah.
Woo! And then I picked it up. And then I picked it up. Picked it up.
picked it up.
And then
And
I picked it up.
I picked it up.
I picked it
I
up.
picked it up.
I picked it up.
Picked it up.
And then
Picked
it up.
Picked it up.
And then picked it
Yeah,
up.
I picked it up. Picked it up. Picked it up.
You watch all the movies?
All these years.
And I waited until now.
Thank you.
Can we get time for have the last year and the last song? Okay, thanks. We just got an okay from the library.
Best Sparrow, please, by the way, is in the United States.
Jennifer Blowdryer, here she comes. Your heart could be anywhere, but your Blowdryer is always going to be with Jennifer. The spirit of punk and regular people. Oh, you're not on page 389? That must have moved it. That must be a new edition. Jennifer continues, she fronted a band called the Blowdryers, and that's how it came about. She still is, so. Mr. and Mrs. Blowdryers. The ship disappeared? Thank you. And following that, we'll just go right on to Susie Hwang, who's been finished. 390. And here it is, from page 398 to infinity. Jennifer Blowdryer.
All right, this is super quick. From White Trash Debutante Ball. Meet the White Trash Debutantes. This is the season. The White Trash are having their own debutante balls constantly. You can only exclude people for so long, and they will stop feeling excluded. It's not natural to feel humble over several generations. Derby, Connecticut has a lot of white trash debs, and they all come into Spider's studio to get tattooed. And the studio is perfect because it's directly connected to a bar called Bottoms Up, where all the slime that get 86 from everywhere else end up. And Spider has a haphazard waiting area where different apprentices have tried to make homey touches. An ugly spray painted couch, a couple of tattoo books, sketches some tacked to the walls. And I hate to say it, but the women in the town look shot by the age of 21. Some of them are too scrawny with haggard looking faces, frizzy hair, and a standard outfit of jeans and a biker t-shirt, unless you change your idea of beauty, which the men must have done, because they keep right on having babies and getting Rick tattooed on their left hip. Some of the tattoos they do are to cover up the Rick with a cluster of lilacs, which is hard to do on a woman who is 7 months pregnant and mad.
That's what goes. Here's the encore. La
There's
Jefa.
just music in that, you know? And thank you, Jennifer, so much. I saw Jennifer perform at Heather Lapierre event at Wild Project Room, but I had been, like, I had heard of her for like so long, and it's like the legend of Jennifer Bonner, and then I got to actually see her perform it, and I was blown away. And I also was in a band called Debutante Hour, so I had to really pick this one. Okay. That's not the right chord.
Meet the white trash debutante. This is the season. White trash are having their own debutante balls constantly. You can only exclude people for so long. They will stop feeling excluded. It's not natural to feel below a certain generation. No, no. The net has a lot of white trash cans, and they all come into Spire Studio to get tattooed. Studio is perfect because it's directly connected to a bar. Call Buttercup. We're all like that get 86 from everywhere else and up. I hate to say it, but the women in the town look shocked by that 821 too scrawny. Haggard faces, crazy hair, and a standard outfit of jeans and a biker t-shirt. Unless you change your idea, change your idea, change your idea, change your idea. Which the man must have done because they keep right on having me. Getting tattooed on their left tit, covering up a rainbow lights. Getting rich tattooed on their left tit, covering up a rainbow lights. Covering up a rainbow on their left tit, covering up a rainbow lights. Getting rich tattooed on their left tit, covering up with lilacs, which is hard to do on a woman who is 7 months pregnant. It's hard to do on a woman who is 7 months pregnant.
We have an after party. It's around Avenue B at Monkey Bar, and I ordered some pizza. So please come around and have a drink with us, raise a glass, and thank you very much. And you can donate to us. We are an arts nonprofit. I never mentioned that because I, like I checked for a flight that's not down, or doesn't exist. And please grab a program if you want. There's a QR code that has like a link to it. Brings you to the bios of all the performers, so you can find out more information about them and support them and follow them on Instagram and all that stuff. Because I want, yeah, you know, that's how it goes. All right, thank you. Oh, I didn't know the performance here because we have a tradition. Afterwards, we group hug the author, and so I would like to invite everyone performing, all the authors who and writers who came in. We have to do that. Tradition.
Yeah, so everybody get here.
Why, come here, Marlon, we need you.
Do me a favor, step out and squeeze in. Step out, squeeze in tight.
Step back, squeeze and tie.
There you go. Look, that'll work, all right? If you want to get down the middle, I'll break you. That'll work. All right. So far, so good. Everybody look right here. Everybody, hold on, don't go anywhere. All right, on three, I want you all to do that. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
Yes.